it is written in the book of Psalms 34, verse 18 to 19. And the Bible says, "The Lord is near the brokenhearted and the contrite in spirit." And the 19 says, "Many are the affliction of the righteous, but the Lord saves them from them all." Yeah. Now quoting a scripture, guys. So now, where do I even start from? So two cannot really walk together unless they agree, right? Like you and this person cannot walk a journey unless if you agree, either in friendship and relationship and business and whatever that you're doing. Two cannot walk together unless they agree. Now, nobody goes into a relationship with the goal or with the plan of Vizakasila. I believe all of us enter into relationships with a mindset of, it's going to be a happily ever after. You know the Shrek, the cartoon? Cartoon Shrek, happily ever after. Nishan, Sleeping Beauty, the Snow Whitey. We all look forward to the happily ever after, right? Yeah. So a moment of silence to all the relationships that failed, especially the ones that you guys started even giving each other to my names, like, his name is going to be Waluse, Shan. A moment of silence. As you have finally reached your destination, but our dab destination iweweka ndio wamine wafikako eve ujawina sa sanafikeko. Okay, anyways, I'm not even supposed to be laughing because, guys, okay, this is serious. Okay, so I want to believe to say every failed relationship was either a learning process or it was a learning process. So we don't usually lose in these things. Okay, we learn. We either win or we learn. I think that's what I have come to believe about relationships. And welcome to the Spotlight, where we have meaningful conversations that edify, equip, and ignite the pursuit of purpose. And today, just like any other amazing day, we're having an amazing topic. And today's topic is heartbreaks. I wanted to sing a song. Yeah. What's that song? Let me remember. Heartbreak is a no more. I don't know if that's if those are the words, but yeah, I think a number of us can relate to that song. Yeah, so today, we're talking about heartbreaks. So let's sit down. Yes, get a chair, sit down. If you're standing, get a chair, sit down. We can volume at least 60%, not 100%, because you might end up damaging your eardrums. Yeah, we should be able to take care of ourselves in the end. I am quiet. Now, I believe that a number of us have undergone heartbreaks, or a number of us have had romantic relationships that have come to an end. Okay, some are lucky in this life that they meet that one person, and it ends up in the happily ever after. Okay, they get married, they have children, and they live all the years. And there's some of us that are still going through we're still going through the mountains and the valleys for us to just get to the point where we find our person, where we find our soulmate. So today we're just trying to break down, like, how do we deal with issues that pertain to a relationship coming to an end. I've come to also believe that a heartbreak can be very confusing and very hurtful, especially if you have invested it all, especially if you started to identify yourself with this person, especially if this was the one for you, if this was it for you, like you got to a point where guys, this is it, like this is done, it's either this person or nothing else, and when that relationship comes to an end, it's confusing because you don't know how to identify by yourself, because the majority of the times you identified with this person because this person was part of every little thing that you did, from your waking up until you sleep. You had those conversations, you had maybe dates, Maybe you even went to the same church together. Maybe you even go to school together. Maybe you work together, and all of those things. So it's quite difficult to handle it when it has come to an end, if you identified yourself with this person. Yeah. So a number of us have sat down and imagined a life with this person. You know, we imagined having kids with this person. We imagined getting married to this person. We imagined walking down the aisle with this person. We imagined growing old with this person. And now they're telling us to say it can't be. So meaning everything that we have everything that we had planned, everything that we had imagined can no longer exist. And I feel like what really hurts the most about heartbreaks is the fact that we get to sit down and really feel hurt because of the things that we had planned, like the things that we could have become with this person. So you're sitting down and you're wondering, like, is there a life after this? But I would want to say there is a life after a heartbreak. Just like there was a life before you met that person, there will still be a life even after that person. But now you know better. Now you understand things better, because I believe it's not everything that was bad probably maybe in that relationship. There were some good things that you have learned and you have experienced in that relationship, right? So maybe what would be the best definition for like a heartbreak, or what would be, not a heartbreak, a breakup? What would be like the best definition? So maybe the best definition to what a breakup is, it's an end to a romantic relationship, which may result in feelings of sadness, feelings of like being depressed. Some of us have actually undergone depression because of a heartbreak. All right. If you come from Zambia, if you come from Zambia, okay, if you come from an African setup, you can be going through a heartbreak, you can be going through a heartbreak, but your parents don't understand. And they expect you to still wash dishes. You're feeling depressed, you're under the weather. You just want to sit there and cry. And then you're told to say, no, you have to go and pick up your... You're going through things. And the majority of the times, we Zambians tend to make a joke out of it, We tend to laugh about it and all of those things. Vamalav, you can die, and all of those things. So we tend to like make fun of it, but then it's a big issue, It's like a very, 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 very big issue. So why do relationships end? Like, why do relationships end? We were in love, or these people were in love. They couldn't live without each other, but then the relationship has come to an end. Why do relationships end? Could it be that, like, why? Is it like my village people that are trying to fight against me? Or like, what is really, really going on? I understand to say there are a number of reasons why a relationship ends, but these are some of the things that I would think would be the best reasons to why relationships end. And then I want to believe at the same time to say, sometimes relationships end not because this person was a bad person. Maybe the person that you were dating was a bad person, or you were a bad person. Sometimes relationships end because two good people were together. Like, you were just too good to be together, So it's not always the case to say, no, the relationship ended because they were bad people, they were mistreating each other and all of those things. Sometimes people end relationships because they were not able to align in purpose. Like, they were not able to align in purpose. And I think I think we should get to a point where we should be okay with relationships ending, especially if the two of you are not aligning in purpose. If the two of you are not going the same direction, I think it would be best if the relationship comes to an end, because at the end of the day, one of you is going to live a life that is unsatisfied. One of you is going to live a life that is that is unfulfilled. Because the majority of the times you discover to say if the two of you are not going the same direction. That's the reason why I think we're saying two cannot work together unless they agree. So it's either you are going to be pulling the opposite directions. Yeah, and then whenever you are holding on to anything, all right, like let's say maybe you're holding on to a piece of cloth and you're pulling in different direction. Obviously that thing is going to tear apart, right? So sometimes relationships don't work, not because the two people were bad people, but because they were not going in the same direction. Yeah, I think we should normalize that. But the majority of the times we want to make a big deal out of it. I feel it's best to end a relationship than to live a life that is not satisfying or a life that is not fulfilling. I don't know what others think, but that's how I feel. I would rather cry and be depressed that it didn't work out than live a life full of misery and sorrow and not being able to fulfill what God intended for me. Yeah. So one of the reasons that I would say is poor conflict management. All of us come from different backgrounds and we differ in how we resolve issues. All right. You would realize that maybe where I am coming from, whenever there is an issue, we conceal, we keep quiet, we don't talk, we shut down. But maybe on the other side, the other person that I am dating, maybe whenever they have an issue, they want to sit down and talk. But then if we're not meeting or if we're not getting to a point where we can resolve the issues that we're going through, then it becomes very difficult for us to actually continue a journey. Because time and again, you and I are going to have issues. Time and again, we are going to misunderstand each other. And if we cannot come to a point where we properly manage our conflict, then it becomes very difficult for us to actually work them out. So the issue of not being able to resolve conflicts the right way. You hear, and the majority of the times, I have seen people that instead of apologizing, they've done something wrong to you. Instead of apologizing, they will not come and say, no, I'm sorry for what I did. I'm sorry that I hurt you. I'm sorry that I said mean words to you. Some people will just go and buy you gifts as a way of apologizing. I'm not saying buying gifts as a way of apologizing is bad, but can we be a people that are going to sit down and actually verbally say these things? I want you to say, I'm sorry. You get right? But we are not going to cover certain things, like replace certain things. We're not going to replace you saying I'm sorry because you bought me a Louis Vuitton bag. Like, be able to say sorry to me when you have offended me. And I've seen some people where this person makes a mistake. It's them that have made a mistake, but the other person goes and apologizes because they are the bigger person. They're trying to make the peace to continue. What peace are you trying to bring about if you're the only person who's been the bigger person and the only person who's apologizing when things go wrong? Why are you the only person who is trying to initiate and bring the relationship together when this other person is not seeing the need? You get right? So the issue of us not being able to properly manage our conflicts within the relationship may actually lead to the relationship not working out. If you're going to shut down the whole time we have an issue, you want to spend 3 days, 4 days not talking to me. What do you mean you're not going to talk to me in those days? You get? And to make matters worse, nowadays, if we don't talk for 2 days, in my generation, if we don't talk for 2 days, the relationship is assumed to be done. So let's learn ways in which we can resolve conflicts without shutting down, without doing things that we're not supposed to do just because of we don't want to apologize or we don't want to find ways to manage conflict. Not all relationships are supposed to end because of conflict. We should find a way, or we should balance on how to actually manage the conflicts. I hope you are following me. I hope you're following me. Remember, this is a spotlight where we have meaningful conversations that edify, equip, and ignite the pursuit of purpose. So remember to like, follow, tag, and leave a comment down below and share the page, and always remember that there is always something going on the page during the week as we wait for Saturdays as usual. Yeah, so mkwai and hit our inbox, guys. Yeah. So and then the other thing is character issues. The people that have not worked on their character. People that have not worked on their character at all. They have unhealthy habits. They have they're belittling when they're talking. They're rude when they're talking. They've not worked on anything on them. Anything comes, anything goes for them. Like they don't really have an identity of their own. They don't really have a stamina of their own. You get, right? So at the end of the day, if you are going to, like, you can't be in a space with a person who's not fully developed themselves, who's not worked on themselves. So there is the issue of character here and there. They're disrespectful, they lack commitment, they lack accountability. Like, what are you doing with a person who's not accountable? No, whenever you ask them to be accountable, they're like, don't control me. We are not controlling you. We just want you to be accountable. You get, right? You cannot just disappear and appear like this is your father's house. Those things you do, it's koyesu. Church is the only place where you disappear and appear. Even your mother's house, you explain where you went and why you have come back. It's only in church where you disappear and appear, and the bishop or the pastor will not ask you where you went. They'll just open their arms and be like, come, prodigal son. But here, you must be accountable. If you're going to choose to be in a relationship, you must be accountable. So people that have got character issues. Lelo alina Johnny, mala alina Joseph, ijade alina Peter, ijade character. Integrity, dignity, guys. You can, so at the end of the day, if you are a person who's trying so hard to build your integrity, to build your dignity, to build yourself, you know, you're trying as hard as possible to be committed to what you're doing, to be accountable, and to do everything that needs to be done in order for you to sustain a relationship. You're able to communicate, and then you're with somebody who's not able to do the same. I think it becomes draining, and obviously you would call it an end. You'd be like, you know what? Thank you, brother man, baby girl. Thank you. It was nice doing this thing with you, but shalom, shalom. We do it the Pentecostal way. Shalom, shalom. But where you go and preach the word of God, if they don't accept, dust off your feet and come back. So if a person has got character issues, it becomes very difficult for you to stay in a relationship with them because they have issues with their character. So let's work on our character, guys. Let's work on our character. This thing of work on your character. Baby girl. Beauty without character. Are we, guys? Let's beauty, character, and brains be together, you know? Like, let's be a whole package. I hope you and I are following each other. Then the other thing is unrealistic expectations, unrealistic and uncommunicated expectations. Now, Iwe, you want this person to come and save you from every other thing that you've experienced in your life. You want this person to come and save you. First of all, you don't I don't know why we don't communicate our expectations. I know there is that saying that people say the easiest way not to be heartbroken or the easiest way not to be hurt is not to have expectations. Me, I still don't understand why people are expecting us not to have expectations. I don't get. Maybe I need some shedding of light on that one. But anyways, I hope. But at the end of the day, we should be a people that are going to communicate our expectations. Your expectations are unrealistic. If you are a miserable person on your own, don't expect when you get into a relationship that this person, they are going to become your happiness. You know, they are going to make you happy. You have put the responsibility that you've put on another person to make you happy is way too much, baby girl. No, you didn't call me. No, he ruined my day because he didn't call me, because he didn't text me. He did. Anyway, They have a life outside you. You also have a life outside them. So let's have realistic expectations in these relationships. This person has come into your life. They've come here. They want companionship. But iwe waonamo ka jackpot muli bevi. You want them to remove you from poverty. You want them to do all of these things that you can't do for yourself. I'm not saying your man should not spoil you. Please, baby boy, do us justice. Yes, but then at the end of the day, do not put the whole burden on this person. No, she has to be my peace. We are not refusing that we want to come here and be your peace. But can you find peace on your own, Vasa? You know? So unrealistic, if you are a miserable person on your own, even in that relationship, you're going to be miserable. It's not like automatically this person is going to become your happy place. Like everything that your family has not done for you, you want this person to come, Shan, I don't know, guys. No, I'm going to feel complete. I'm going to feel satisfied when I am in a relationship. Actually, it's not true. You can be very incomplete even in a relationship. Because at the end of the day, what we're expecting two people that are working on themselves, two complete people coming together. Not ubwere ulipa 5%. Then imzako abwere which they expect anka ina 100% yake na 95% yako. Awe yeah, guys. So let's have realistic expectations in these relationships. And let's also communicate our expectations so that the other person knows what they're getting themselves into. As if to say, kuno kwa mino wabwela dadi, ni kubwela kulipila marentals, kuno kwa mino wabwela dadi, ni kubwela kusolving ama family problems yanga, kuno kwa mino wabwela, wabwelonghala save, ufunga kunchosa mpovati. So that na eve mwini waka azishte prepare to say, oh, even if I nangenam. Aini, let's hope we're following each other. Let's hope we're following each other. Yes. The other thing is that conflict of interest. All right? You and this person, your interests are quite different. What I mean when I say conflict of interest is how this person is behaving or how this person is like the things that they deem important to them, the things that they loyal to. Is it royal or loyal to? The things that they are loyal to, the things that they are faithful to, the things that they are committed to. If the things that your partner is committed to have the ability to cause them or cause an issue in your relationship, then that's conflict of interest. Let's say, for example, we have, I think religion can be the best thing that I can put up, right? Let's say, how do I bring this out? Okay, culture and religion. I know right now we're trying to bridge the gap, especially when it comes to culture. We're trying to bridge the gap because I think of late we've seen a lot of interracial, is it interracial? Like bazungu, wakwati lava black, wakwati lava bazungu. Ijawe Indian. Is it interracial? Yeah, it's interracial. Yeah, interracial marriages, meaning that we are fusing each other's cultures in it. But a long time ago, you would understand to say this person's culture may not really fit in another person's culture, or maybe religion. Let's say I am Christian. It would be very difficult for me, who is like a full-time Christian, a full-time believer, a full-time follower of Christ, to be in a relationship with a person who is probably maybe Muslim. Right? This is because our ideas or our perception over things may not really be the same. I think a long time ago, you would understand why parents would not allow their children to get married in certain tribes, because they would assume there is conflict of interest because how that person was brought up and how you were brought up are conflicting ideas. So there is like always a conflict of interest. Let's say, for example, you discover, maybe away from culture and religion, away from that, you discover that this person is has gotten into a relationship with you because of the money. That's conflict of interest. So they're not basically interested in you, they're interested in the things that you can give them. Or maybe this person gets into a relationship with you because they want revenge, you know? Or this person gets into a relationship with you because they want to make the other person feel jealous. So that's like conflict of interest. So it's not like the focus is on you. The focus is on making the other person bad. You get right? So there is like those things, conflict of interest. And maybe sometimes family issues, you know? family where you really want to be with this person, but their family doesn't want you. So there is that. So at the end of the day, you would say, hands off, this relationship is done because what do you mean your family doesn't want me? You get right? Or maybe sometimes, what do they call it? A mom's boy. Where everything, it has to be like, my mom, my mom, my mom. Conversation mwenda ku date 2 hours, muli 2 hours, 40 minutes, uzokungo kambache pale wa mai wake. Not that it's a bad thing. Not that it's a bad thing. I actually love men that have a good relationship with their mothers because I know for sure to say I will be treated well, I'll be treated right. If this person respects and loves the mom or the sisters, I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm quiet. Then the other thing is selfishness. I have seen people that want everything to be done their way. It's either them, it's everything has to revolve around them. You didn't call me, you didn't text me, you didn't what. The relationship is not all about you, baby girl. So let me even come closer. The relationship is not all about you, baby girl. Baby boy, the relationship is not all about you. There is another person as well. This me, this that. Sha, you didn't remember my birthday. You didn't shine. You didn't remember girlfriend's day. You are not the center of this relationship. In short, Christ is supposed to be percent. Yeah. So selfishness, and probably maybe slash entitlement. People that are so entitled to other people's maybe things or other people's lives. You just want everything to surround you. This person can no longer have time with their friends, with their family. They just have to be with you. If you have maybe a discussion, it has to be done your way. It's either your way or there is no other way. That's not how relationships are supposed to run. They're supposed to be like mutual agreement or mutual understanding, where you and this person are able to meet each other halfway. Not imwe lyonse ba meeting imwe bakukonkani ndi imwe chabe mweka imwe mukakalipa mukasavuka mule kwaltaoda. If you're not able to put another person before you, relationships are not for you. Yes. Relationships are not for you. You belong to the streets, you. If you're not able to do that, you belong to the streets. Then the other thing, I think trauma. I think a number of us have not really healed from our past relationships or our past traumas with maybe family. Let's say, for example, maybe you are a girl who has had issues like daddy issues. That usually spills off into your relationships. Or you are a man who has mom issues, it may spill into your relationships. So you have not healed from whatever hurt that you went through. So at the end of the day, you may end up hurting this person who has just come here to love you. They have not come here to pay the price. Christ has already paid the price. Why are they paying the price for your 2 ex-boyfriends or 2 ex-girlfriends? Why are they paying the price for your dad? I am a trust issues, yet you know? You're not going to come here and put the whole baggage on this innocent person. I understand, all of us have issues. Let's not our traumas be the reason why we mistreat people in relationships. Let's not our traumas be the reason why relationships can't work. Let's work on ourselves. Let's deal with our past traumas. I get, it's not your fault that you have all of these traumas. It's just things that you went through in life. But can we get to a point where we start to work on ourselves? That whatever that I have got, let your past not keep you from the future. A number of us have lost good relationships, not because the other person was not understanding, but because our daddy issues, our mommy issues, our ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend issues spilled into the new relationship. Don't bleed on a person who did not hurt you. And again, the other thing, this person has come to you. You are starting on a new page, guys. Why is this person supposed to answer the cases of the people that hurt you before him or before her? Why do they have to come and prove themselves worthy? And if I come into your life, I'm expected that trust is at 100%. Fiance, it's at 100%. But I'm coming here, I have to answer why your ex broke your heart. if I fail to answer your phone, kokwalaba, hey, that's what she did. Ewe. Can we have order? Can we start on 0-0, guys? Let me make my own mistakes. If I'm going to break your heart, let me break your heart on my own. You get, right? Not here I start paying for what the other people did. Christ has paid it all. Huh? Christ has paid it all. Young weaker person, if you want to just go and work on yourself. Just go and work on yourself. Not that what, Chania, just go and work on yourself. Then the other thing that, this is a common one, is cheating and abuse. Guys, for better and for worse does not include cheating and does not include abuse. And if you're in a relationship, what do you mean this person is cheating on you? What do you mean this person is abusing you in a relationship that you are not in? Not that I'm saying it's okay for a person to cheat and to abuse you in marriage. No, that's not what I'm saying. But you are not tied to anything. Like there is no the word, I think those words that what God has put together cannot be put aside. Any toxic behaviors, anything that is ungodly, that should not be done to a person, verbal abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse, whatever abuse that is there, any ungodly behavior in a relationship, baby girl, baby boy, run for your life. Disrespect, belittling you, being rude, being no. Anything that you cannot just tolerate. Piamo, baby girl, piamo. It's okay. Bakalanda, so I have a question that I usually ask. Do you really need closure? Most of the times when the relationship has hit a rock bottom and people have fallen out of love and all of those things, and this person maybe has said that the relationship is done, they no longer want to be with you, and maybe they've not given you reasons why they don't want to be with you. The majority of the times I have sat with people that have been like, no, I just want to get closure. I want to get the reason why she wants to end the relationship, or I want to know the reason why he's breaking off the relationship. No, I just need closure. I just need closure. But this is my take on closure. People don't just wake up and say the relationship is done. Okay? Boom. Then I learned that no, the relationship is over, we're done. It's not usually the case. The majority of the times they are habits or traits or signs that come, that will point. They're indicators. They're indicators that this thing is no longer working. They're indicators that this person is falling out of love with you. They're indications that this relationship is no longer saving, is no longer working. So I don't get why sometimes we are so desperate to get closure when there were all of these things that we were able to see. The person became inconsistent, the person became abusive, maybe the person distanced themselves and all of those things. So so I get, it's like a 2 out of 10 situation that you need closure. The majority of the times, we see these things. And sometimes we ignore, especially the person who's in love the most is the person who ignores the signs of maybe falling out of love. Because for them, they're like, they've put you like this, like you're an idol there. And love is blind. Eh? Yeah, they'll say love is blind. But then there are all of these things that will be able to point out to say, okay, I think this relationship has stopped serving purpose. This relationship is not working out anymore. But if you need closure, if you were not able to pick the signs, if you need closure, let's do it on the phone. Oh my God. Yes, let's do it on the phone. Let's do it on the phone. Call this person up and ask them, oh, baby girl, you said A, B, C, D, and D. What did I do? And whatever that they have to say, even you, a person who's giving closure, if what you have to say is not going to help this person, I think it's best not to say it. If what you have to say is going to injure their self-worth, is going to injure their self-esteem, is going to injure them, I think it's best not to say it. I understand we're getting closure because we want to know where we can improve on. But there are people that just end the relationship because they found somebody better. Is it better? No. They found somebody, I don't know, maybe better is the word. I don't know what's the right word, but yeah. You get right? So get the closure on the phone or in a public place. Ten kumanda hiu, ten kuchan ngoja. Kwa kedzi, let's meet parody and get closure. This thing of saying let's go and get closure, mwende kunyumba kwao ba baby boy, or mwende kunyumba kwao ba baby girl, and already you guys have done what the Bible says this is sin. Palas pakaena muzabwela akoimwe, you will not even be able to tell you the reason why the relationship ended. Tizambela kocha bad no, we patched things up. How did you patch things up? Muzakangwa na kutuuza how you patched things up. So get closure, panse, in public. Aini? Not total. So it's like, the closure thing is like a 50-50 thing. You may not need it, you may need it. If it's going to help you in your healing journey, you may need it. But if it's something that is not even worth listening to, for example, this person cheated on you, and then after cheating on you, they decided to stay with the person that they cheated on you, at that particular point, they're going to come and tell you to say, no, you were not good enough for me. And once you hear things like you were not, especially if they're going to give you a closure that is going to look at everything negative about you. Yo, baby girl, it would have been best, baby boy, it would have been best if you never went to get that closure. But all in all, what I am saying, you don't even need the closure, baby girl, baby boy. Just pick up the broken pieces and move on. Because yeah, the closure helps to move on, but the majority of the time it just breaks you because it makes you feel like you were not enough. Yeah. But let's take a commercial break. They've stopped giving me coffee. I'm going through things, guys. We are now doing water. At Manzi is life. Yeah. So I think we and then the other thing that I want to talk about, guys, I feel like it's not necessary for you to start coming here and speaking bad about the person that you were dating, where you even start calling them petty names, where you come and now you download for us how bad this person was. When we saw the pictures, you were happy. It's not necessary, guys, to sit down and talk bad about this person. Remember, at a certain point, this person was your source of happiness. They were your source of joy, You couldn't live without them. You couldn't sleep without them. So coming here and telling us all these bad things about them, I think it's not really, I think it's not really mature. Yeah, for lack of a better term, it's not mature. Tamuli maturity. Mukisa panono mukisa mkulanda we adi muntu mubisana shani and all of those things. And then to make matters worse, after you tell us all of those bad things, then 2 weeks later you guys get back together, and then us, we don't know how to deal with your partner. We don't know how to respect them. We don't know what to say to them the next time we see the two of you together. Elonganya love, guys, I think it would be best if you just let people deal with mama love on their own. Because you'll be here advising this person only for them to come and post to say no one can separate us. These fluffies can't separate us. And then you was looking at the status, you even back at the back of your head, you're like, whoo. When the person was part of your happiness, even if it was for a short period of time, okay, some of us would do 2 minutes relationships, 5 minutes relationships. Even if it was for a shortest period of time, I think we're still obligated to protect their integrity and to protect them and to protect their name, just in case you get back together. you know? It's actually a good thing. You know, the funny part that I've come to realize about Mama Vala is this. You come and tell us all of these things. You forgive each other. Then, now, us, he say we are not going to forgive this person. Maona, we are not going to forgive your partner because he say at the back of our heads, we still have those names that you were calling him. No, he's just a chimbwi. Us, we still have those names. So the next time we see him, at the back of our heads, we're seeing a chimbwi. And then he say, if we disrespect that person, then where you want to get upset. When in the first place, you were the person that disrespected your partner. You finished them in our presence. So manje he say, we don't know where to take all this anger, all this hate that we have for this person. And we can't come and tell him off. Because manje Kylie, show me, as long as you're happy, show me. So stop playing victim. Equally, even you did wrong things in that relationship. A relationship does not break because of one person. Sometimes the relationship breaks because of two individuals. A marriage does not break because of one person. It breaks because of two individuals that were not able probably maybe to reason together and move together. Or they were not able to agree, as the Bible says. So let's talk about benefits of a heartbreak. I know the majority of the times we want to look at the bad side of a heartbreak, but I have come, a bearer of good news. I've come to tell you that there are benefits to a heartbreak, guys. There are benefits to a heartbreak. Not everything is bad, guys. Not everything is bad. So I want to believe that sometimes it's a blessing when the relationship does not work. Like it's really a blessing when a relationship does not work. When this person lets you down and you decide to go separate ways, sometimes it's a blessing. Because at that particular point, it pushes you to do things or to become a bigger, or to become the best version of yourself. I have seen people that are glowing and are growing as a result of maybe a heartbreak. It pushed them to actually become better. You know, they became best versions of themselves. You know, they had to pick themselves, they had to pick the broken pieces, put them together, decided to make a beautiful a beautiful vase out of the broken pieces. And now we are able to sit down and be like, oh wow, that's amazing. But they only used the pain from the heartbreak for the right things and the right purpose. So a heartbreak, guys, can be beneficial and is beneficial. So number one is we learn to put ourselves first. Let's say, for example, maybe you were putting this person first for the last maybe 2 years, for the last 1 year, for the last 6 months, or for the last 5 years. I've seen people that have dated even for, people that have been in a relationship even for about a year, 10 years plus. And this relationship comes to an end. And for the first time, this person is able to put their needs first. They're able to put themselves first. You know, where they really look at themselves for who they are. You know, where they tell themselves, I'm going to work on myself. Where they learn to prioritize their needs. Where they learn to understand themselves and understand deal breakers for them. Where they say, no, in my next relationship, I am not going to allow disrespect. I'm not going to allow this. I'm not going to allow that. I'm not going to allow that. You get right? So a heartbreak will push you to putting yourself first, to wanting to do things for yourself first. Because at this particular point, you do not have any other person to put first, but you have yourself to put first. So it helps you to get to that point. It also helps us to get an identity of our own. A number of us in these relationships, especially if you have dated this person maybe for 4 years, 3 years, you've learned to identify with this person. So you don't have an identity of your own outside this person. If they were to ask you to say, who are you outside this person? You may not even be able to answer. So at that particular point, you learn to have an identity of your own because you're now discovering who you are. You're now discovering what your interests are. You're now learning to fall in love with the little things, fall in love with music, fall in love with nature, fall in love with all of these things. So you learn to identify yourself. You begin to understand what is important to you, what your values are. Because guys, alive for me, if we get into a relationship, my psychology teacher will be like, mulengshamo, amala, amolu, mulengshamo no mutwi. So me and this person become like, so after the relationship is done, I need to find myself. I need to get an identity of my own. So we get to go through this journey. We get to go through the journey of self-awareness again. We learn who we are. And we get to have this identity again in God. I was listening to something and they said, this person said, if a heartbreak should take you to two places. It's either it should take you to Jesus or it should take you to the gym. Or it can actually take you to both places. Because at the end of the day, we're just trying to find root or find ourselves. You get, right? So those are the benefits of a relationship. The other thing is that we develop self-dependence, right? Where we get to make decisions on our own, where we begin to learn to regulate our own emotions. Because at this particular point, a support system, you become self-dependent. Yeah. And again, the other thing is that there is a negative thing with having too much self-dependence. Especially if you have been alone for a long time, maybe after a breakup, it's taken you maybe 4 or 5 years for you to get into a relationship. Your level of self-dependence cannot be compared to anything. At that particular point, you get to a point where you begin to feel like you don't need nobody. So we don't want you to get to that point. So make sure that once you heal, you get back to searching and mingling and meeting people. Aini? Not that how I'm good on my own. Could be ever good on my own. The Bible and that none amongst them shall lack a mate. So there is somebody for you. Whether your heart broke into 500 million times, but then we're not saying every piece of your heart belongs to. It doesn't belong to anyone. It should belong to. The other reason that we have is that we learn to love ourselves. I think what I've come to believe about love is you never really know exactly what love is, not until you have spent some time alone. You know, a number of us are going to be like, I want a person who's going to love me right and treat me right and all of those things. And when you ask them, like, what does it mean for you to be loved right? What do you mean for you to be treated right? The majority of the times you will hear shallow things like a person who's going to buy me flowers, a person who's going to take me out, and all of those things. Does being taken out really mean to be treated right? A person can buy you gifts and be very disrespectful. You get? So it's only in times when we have learned to spend those moments by ourselves after a heartbreak that we really learn to know what it means to be loved by a person. What is it that I really want? When I say I want to be loved right, what is it that I really mean? You know, it is in these moments when you've undergone a heartbreak that you sit down and learn to love and appreciate certain things about you. There's certain things that maybe that other person did not appreciate about you, but it is in you being away from them, you being away from a relationship, that is going to be able to open up your eyes and say, oh, actually, I love this. Because in these relationships, we don't even like those things, you know? But because that's what Boo wants, that's what Bay wants, I'll end up doing it. We've even developed developed habits and traits that are not even part of us. But it is in moments when a relationship has reached its end and you're spending time with yourself that you really learn to love yourself. So I hope you are picking one or two things. I'm not an expert at this, but I think I'm not an expert. But I think from my little experience and interacting with people around this conversation, I think these are some of the things that I have actually learned and picked up. Now, kindly note that some relationships are worth going back to. All right? Now, at that particular point, I am not justifying why you went back to your to your toxic boyfriend or to your toxic girlfriend. I'm not justifying why. But listen to my statement. Listen to me. Follow me before you come for my head. Some relationships are worth going back to, especially if the both of you have taken time to work on yourselves. So let's say the reason why maybe the two of you ended the relationship, maybe it was an issue of character, and the both of you have taken your time to work on your characters. Okay, and we have seen people that ended their relationship and they got back together and their relationship is making sense. When you sit down and they're like, okay, at the very beginning when we started dating or when we started this relationship, what was lacking was A, B, C, D, and D. But after we went separate ways for about maybe 2 years or 3 years, and then we decided to get back together, some of the things that we had worked on was A, B, C, D, and D. So some relationships are worth going back to, but it's not every relationship that is worth going back to. So the next time that ex-boyfriend of yours or that ex-girlfriend of yours calls you or texts you to say, hi boo, hi Shan, can we get back together? Ask them what's going to be different this time around. You know, like look at them, have they really worked on themselves? Sometimes people try to get back with us because they are bored. Yeah. So there's a question that we usually ask when you sit down, like, I think a number of times, I think with a number of people that I've spoken to, there is always the question of why did that other person move on fast than me? And I think that's the most hurtful thing that we ever experience. Like you sit down, you are still grieving, you are still mourning, you're still going through things, only for you to find out that the person that you were dating some 2 weeks ago has found somebody else. Or maybe in worst cases, they're even getting married. Maybe 6 months later, they're getting married. And then you're sitting down and you're like, Mweresa, how did this person move on fast? How? So there's some reasons that I have. They may not be the whole lot of reasons, but this is part of the reasons why I think some people move on faster than others. So number one is I feel like the other person may not have been fully invested in the relationship as you were. So maybe they were just there sticking around for the sake, you know, and then they didn't put in their all into the relationship. And they were just waiting for the official, and when they said it's done, it was like, oh, it's just an official statement. But for them, maybe the relationship was gone a long time ago. I have seen people that walk away from relationship emotionally and mentally 6 months before they actually say the statement, it's done. So you would have discovered to say maybe in that 6 months, they were maybe talking to other people and all of those things. So they were not invested in the relationship. And I have also seen people that stay in relationship with others, but not fully invested. They're just waiting for somebody right to come their way. It's more like they're just here wasting time, passing time. That's the word, passing. They're just passing time. Once they meet somebody that they feel like, okay, this is a person that I would want to go with to my promised land, then it's done. They're gone. You get, so the person may not have just been fully invested in the relationship as you were. So the it's done part was just like an official statement, but they were emotionally, probably maybe even physically out of that relationship a long time ago. They were just there because maybe they didn't even find they were just looking for reasons why they should end the relationship. You get, right? And then the other reason is maybe they already had somebody while they were with you. The other thing where a number of us are in it, like we are in a relationship. You know, I've seen those things where the relationship ends today and then a person posts like, happy 3rd anniversary, my love. Like, how did you... We just broke up yesterday. Today you're in a 3 years relationship. How? You get? So I think even the last time, I think in one of the episodes, I think should be what sustains a relationship. I mentioned to say my generation is struggling with commitment. So they may be seeing a number of people, like maybe 2 people, 3 people. That's how bad it is nowadays. One person is dating about 3, 4 people. So the moment the relationship is done with you, they're on to the next person. Or sometimes they're having these conversations with this person, but the conversations are not really like intense. So the moment it's done with you, they just intensify the conversation with the other person. And the next minute is they're done. They've moved on. And then maybe the other reason is they don't want to feel alone. I've seen countless people that have decided to get into a relationship immediately after ending a relationship because they don't want to feel alone. I feel like that's the worst way of moving on or moving forward with life, because I feel it doesn't give you enough time to work on some of the things that you should have worked on, or some of the baggages that you carried from the previous relationship. So you're getting into this relationship with unresolved issues from the previous relationship. So they don't want to fill the void. So they end up dating somebody else immediately after the relationship is done, which I don't advise. Because you end up hurting that person, and that person is probably, maybe for them it's like, wow, I finally have a person, and for you it's, I don't want to be alone. You get, so you end up breaking the heart of that person, and in return, maybe even them, they will end up doing the same thing to another person, because at the end of the day, what did I do to deserve such a situation? You get, where somebody decides to get into a relationship with me because they want to forget the other person. So moving on does not necessarily mean to say you have to get into a relationship. Moving on sometimes may mean you just taking time to understand and get to know yourself better. Some people don't like themselves that much to be alone. They don't like their own space. They always want, they always want that, they always want the adrenaline to be, is it adrenaline or dopamine? Katwishi, pale awe na hormones. You get. The moment that they are alone for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, they are depressed. So they put a lot of things around them. There's a lot of activity around them, and relationships are part of those activities. So they moved on. Maybe not because they never loved you, but they moved on because they just don't want to be alone. You get, right? Yeah. And then sometimes, immediately after the relationship ended, they found their person. They found the bone of their bone, the flesh of their flesh. They found the man of their dreams, a person that was willing to treat them right and love them the right way. And off they went. You know, they told themselves to say, this community heartbreak here will not stop me from enjoying my life here. You get? So it's possible that they met somebody. We have heard those stories to say, you know, I was going through a very rough patch in my life, and I think after I just ended my relationship, I was not ready to be in a relationship, and that's when I met him, and blah, 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 blah. 10 years later, they have 7 children. Having children that you can't take care of. And then the last thing, listen to this. The last thing. It's none of your business what they decide to do with their lives. Your business is to get your life in shape and move forward. If the relationship is done, what the other person decides to do is not your baby to nurse. Let them do them, and then you do you. I know it's not easy. It's hurtful. It's painful. Yes. But let's just say the truth as it is. Let's call a spade a spade. You know, yeah, but it's none of your business. What they decide to do with their lives, it's none of your business. So just move on with your life. Yeah. And then the other truth is, it's not easy to walk away from a relationship that you thought that you would spend eternity with this person. I can take a break. Yes, truth be told, it's not easy to walk away from a relationship that you thought you would spend eternity with this person. You thought you were gonna grow gray with this person, you know. You're gonna, the person is gonna kneel down and put a ring on it, and you'll be like, ah. You know, when you were shouting, my man, my man, my man, and you were saying those things, have you seen my babe? Have you seen how pretty my babe is? And all of those things. And then now this relationship has come to an end. All of us deal with heartbreaks differently. Like, all of us deal with heartbreaks very different. And such emotions really take a toll on our mental health. It takes a toll on our spiritual health. It takes a toll on our physical health. It just takes a toll on your entire system as a person. Especially if you are a believer and you thought this was it. You even prayed to God and you're like, God confirmed it. You know? You've ever gotten to a point where because of a heartbreak? You're like, God, you're a bad God. And all of those things. You know, where sometimes we become depressed. Our emotions are everywhere. We are sad. I have seen people that have gotten to a point of even wanting to take their own lives because they were going through a heartbreak. So it's not always easy to deal with a heartbreak. It's not always easy. It's not always easy. Imafika chabe life, guys, babula bafunda vintu. Fiapena. Ero kunganda tetu don't know that you are going through a heartbreak. Because your mother won't understand. Like, she won't understand. Like, wamene uja John, wamene ankala pali bazimba ndio wamene mulilira hapo imwe. You know? And kwa Africa, guys, heartbreaks. Those are some of the things that we don't talk about in African homes. We don't. Because the way your mother will shout at you, because your mother at that particular point, she wants to believe to say, where you are not doing boys, you're not dating anybody, you're just you. And then you want to come here and talk about heartbreak. Guys, heartbreak is unbearable, guys. I think in next life, we should plead with God and tell him to say, God, my love should remain on earth. And it's a good thing that Sangara could be my love, Kumwamba. But guys, yeah, I love love. So now, heartbreaks can become very serious to a point that there is what we call, in medicine, there is what they call heartbreak syndrome, where a person will have symptoms of a heart attack. You know, I think I'm getting that right. Like the heart muscles, your own heart muscles, like your heart will start to fail to pump blood. That's how bad it can get. It's like a serious thing. You have chest pains, you have maybe even difficulties in breathing. Some, this is the point where they even develop mental conditions. You know, they even develop heart issues. So heartbreak is not really a small thing. It's something that can really take a toll even on your physical health. So guys, if you know somebody out there that is going through a rough patch, a rough season, because maybe they just broke off a relationship, they just got divorced, or they maybe called off an engagement, let's be there for them. Alaktuwapena, guys. Alaktuwapena. And sometimes everything else that people are talking, people are saying, you may not even be able to see it. You all that you want, you just want this person. Yeah, he was abusing me, yes, but I love him. We've heard such stories. So it's not always an easy thing to deal with. A heartbreak is not an easy thing. She sit me down, guys, and ask me proper. Otherwise, I can cry for you guys. Okay, good. So now, how do we then move past the heartbreak? Like, what do we do? Okay, now that the relationship is done, how do I deal with these emotions? How do I deal with what I am feeling? How do I move past it? You know, I think the first days of a heartbreak are the hardest. Like the first maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month are the hardest. Like they're the hardest. And I feel sometimes it depends with how long you were with a person. If the relationship lasted you very long, like you spent a lot of years together, it may take you longer to move past that person because your routines, your schedules, your whole life began to revolve around this person. So now you adjusting may not really be an easy thing to experience. So the first days are really rough. They're tough. They're the sad ones. They're the ones that we cry. They're the ones that we feel like our heart is ripping out. Now, I think what I have noticed of late is that the majority of us want to act like we were unbothered by the heartbreak. We want to act like, please. You know, we want to act like, ish, guys, what? You want me cry over a man? I can't. Me cry over a girl? What do you mean? There's so many, you know, and nowadays we're like, there's a lot of fish in the sea. You lose one fish and then you want to trust to say there is a lot of fish in the sea. So we act unbothered. We want to brush it aside and act like it didn't exist. We want to act strong. Allah, you will break down when you least expect. you go and cry in a meeting and explain things to people that don't know. People that I'm going to try to explain abantu konchitwat, guys. I'm going through a lot. So the first thing is break down. If you need a good night cry, cry. Baby boy, it's okay for you to sit there and cry. Listen to that heartbreak song, either done by who's this person that I love the most? What's her name? Adele. Listen to an Adele song. Adele has done a lot of heartbreak songs. Especially there's that song, I can love you in the dark. It feels like we're oceans apart. There's so much space between us. Baby, we're already defeated. Hey, everything changed. So listen to just even one heartbreak song. Or listen to My Westlife. Ashan, can't believe that I'm a fool again. I thought this love would never end. I was right to know. Listen to that song and cry. Cry, baby boy, cry. Lila daddy, lila. Abe Ochungana kamba kudala ati lila boy in the song that he did to say Mwamuna Samalila. Kulasa nakamba ati lila boy. So cry, baby boy, cry. Cry, we understand. It hurts, we understand. It's part of healing. Crying is part of healing. Chijatanji mankala apa. Chizachoka. So break down. Allow yourself to experience the pain. Allow yourself to experience the hurt. Because yes, you are hurt and your feelings are valid. What you're feeling is valid. It's okay. We understand. If you don't want to do it in the open, do it alone. Especially usiku wantu wakaenda gone. Lira ndani, kumbatile pilo, lira. It makes you human. It doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. And baby boy, it makes you human. The other thing is that let's talk about it, okay? The same people that you would go and share your secrets with, your best friend, a close friend, a pastor, whosoever that is there, like sit down with them and talk about it. I believe it is in talking about it that we release some bad energy around, you know, like when we talk about it. I thought this was it. This was my man, guys. This was my babe, guys. You don't understand. Yes, and we will listen to you vent. Yes. Ine, if you're going to invite me to your crying ceremony and venting ceremony of a heartbreak, just make sure that you get us coffee once. Get us coffee. If you can't get us coffee, Gulancha become your kids in Bhutan. Then let's sit, let's cry. I also cry my cry. You cry, I also cry my cry. Then we cry together. Very important. So talk about it. Talk about it with people that you trust, with people that knew that you were in a relationship. Not everybody relationship. So talk about it with people that are not going to judge you, people that you are in a safe space with. And then the other thing is that accept that it's over. Though it's not going to be there and then like you accept that it's over, no. But then accept that it's over and move on. Always constantly remind yourself of why the relationship ended. You know, this person was abusive. Whatever that it is was the reason that you ended the relationship or the relationship was ended. Always remember that, and then it will help you to actually move past it. Now, a failed relationship does not make you a failure or does not disqualify you to actually date another person or to be in a relationship with another person. But the most important thing is that we learn to actually heal. And then be compassionate towards yourself. Show yourself kindness. Show yourself mercy. This is not the time to be hard on yourself. Be patient with yourself. Be kind with yourself. Take steps. Take each day as it comes. You know, take each day as it comes. Remove some certain things that you used to do with them from the schedule. So take each day as it comes. Then the other thing is that cut all forms of contact, with them. So if they are your friend on Facebook, block, delete. It's okay. It's easier for you to heal. I don't really get the whole thing of no, the relationship is done but we're still friends. I don't get that. And in adult life, we don't do that. In adult life, we are not enemies, but we are not friends as well. So we keep each other at a distance. If I meet you in the street, it's not like in hello, how are you? Because I mean, you were once my happiness. So I niko pitili, niko poshe. Ukan waving and then waving. Ukan start introduce to a baby back. You're like, oh, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Ukan pitili and then niko pitili. If you want to make me an enemy, then I will do my own end. But then the most important thing is that you cut them off. Let them not have access to your life. Ex-boyfriend up to me, phone at, hi, how are you? I miss you. Hey, why are you still giving access to people that left? How guys, we deserve better. We deserve better. Now the last thing is work on yourself. I think it's very important that we take our time just to work on ourselves. There's certain ways that we've compromised in probably maybe that previous relationship. Some of us stopped working on ourselves. We stopped growing. We stopped everything that we were doing because we're just focusing on this relationship. Now it's time to go back to the things that you loved before. Go back, study, read books, listen to music, learn a new hobby here and there, but just make sure that you work on yourself so that you become actually the best version of yourself. The best revenge that you can ever do after a heartbreak is not getting into another relationship. It's to work on yourself. Because at the end of the day, that is the best strength you can ever have. The strength of a heartbreak can actually move mountains. So put that work, put that energy into something that can actually become productive. Yeah. So this has been the Spotlight, where we have meaningful conversations that edify, equip, and ignite the pursuit of purpose. And today we were talking about heartbreak. If you're just joining us, please, that color and start so that it takes you to the beginning. Remember to like, follow, and leave a comment. Yes, and tag somebody and just share the page. And remember that we always have activities that are done during the course of the week. So on Wednesdays, come be blessed. We usually have Bible study. On Mondays, we are talking about finances and stuff. Then on Tuesday, we're talking about family and relationships. On Thursday, we talk about health. And on Friday, it's just easy Friday because we are excited about So in conclusion, I am saying some heartbreaks or some failed relationships are a blessing in disguise. So you didn't lose. It was God trying to protect you. So bye-bye and God bless.